After my video on Red Raptor Writes' terrible video on Rebirth, it did surprisingly well, with it even being my fastest growing video on my channel, and that's great. Thank you. Like seriously, thank you guys so much for that amazing amount of views. Like, wow, thanks. So I thought, hey, why not make another video on Red Raptor Writes due to how well the first one was received? And let's see if this one...
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Red Raptor Writes. Like it or not, Jurassic World 3, titled Dominion, is scheduled to come out next summer with production well underway. Who knows, maybe it'll be pushed back due to the literal zombie apocalypse outside. If you're a longtime viewer, then you probably already know my thoughts on this new batch of Jurassic movies.
They're alive, like me.
So you just contradicted yourself. You showed a scene that talked about the ethics of human cloning and an important line to the themes of Fallen Kingdom. And what Macy is implying is that, oh, they are just like me, and just because they're clones, does that mean they deserve to die? And regardless of how this was executed, that's what it's trying to imply and what it's Maisie's saying. So why did you even bring it up? And you just ignored it, and the thematic undertones it carried. But honestly, I'm not really surprised coming from you of all people.
I really dislike them for a long list of reasons, but the sad thing is, there is a genius premise right in the heart of the first Jurassic World. Fallen Kingdom, you get nothing.
So you get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
We've been living in a world super saturated by dinosaur media for decades at this point.
Then why are you bringing up Power Rangers? Power Rangers is about giving normal people superpowers to stop overpowered aliens. So why are you bringing that up? And Power Rangers is not about dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are in some of the shows. It might even be a theme there, like in Dino Charge, but they are never the main focus. It's still just people gain overpowered abilities to beat up aliens. Like, no. And that's the equivalent of saying JJK is about wolves because Megami can create wolves. Like, no, just because there's an element in a show, that does not mean the show is all about that. And a movie about dinosaurs like Jurassic Park focuses on the dinosaurs. Power Rangers is not that because the dinosaurs are just there. And isn't that a bit clingy and narrow-minded way to look at dinosaur media? You're essentially saying, oh, I don't like the fact that these films don't use dinosaurs in a way how I want them to. Dinosaurs must be looked on in only how I see them, not how others see them. This is just a narrow-minded viewpoint of dinosaur media, since, like, different media can portray dinosaurs however they want. This isn't something that you can just control all because you have a narrow-minded way and call these bad portrayals of dinosaurs. Like, that's just completely ridiculous.
Yes, there were many artistic works before Jurassic Park, but after 1993, it's like the entertainment industry rushed to capitalize on this newfound fame, and Jurassic World certainly had something important to say about it. It's really a tale about the media and public's false perception of these wonderful animals and why it needs to change. But before I get started, I have one Leo nerds. Without further interruption, it's time to see how Jurassic World was almost pure genius. Let's dig this up. Like with most of my videos, I'll be breaking this up into 3 major sections. The first being how the public views these awesome archosaurs, followed by how they really were.
Again, media does not have to portray dinosaurs of how you want them to. Media can portray them however they want them to. This is not the correct way to portray them. Don't...
And and then the film's take on the subject. Okay? Good. So, fake news. Fake news everywhere. When what we now call dinosaurs were discovered in the early 1800s, early paleontologists were quick to label them as dumb, giant swamp monsters. Heck, the word dinosaur even means fearfully great or terrible lizard in Greek. When you look at some of the original statues made in London's Crystal Palace Park in the 1850s, you see nothing more than big, funny-looking lizards. Over the next 100 years, new finds shed light on many extinct species of dinosaur. They gradually morphed from the Crystal Palace models into their own distinct look. But can you imagine this was supposed to be Iguanodon? By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, you began to recognize some of the popular creatures like Apatosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, and Triceratops. With finds of Deinonychus in the 60s, great progress was made with dragging tails, swamp stupidity, and cold-bloodedness being replaced with horizontal stances, intelligence, warm blood, and all kinds of biomes. But one misrepresentation still lingers to this day, nearly 200 years after Megalosaurus was found: the idea of dinosaurs as vicious killers. Now, Jurassic Park and The Lost World did a great job of portraying them as just animals, but still the misconception lives on in the public image. Movies like The Land Before Time, Dinosaur, and King Kong present some of these creatures as bloodthirsty monsters who kill anything and everything in their path. Sadly, many casual moviegoers take what they see on screen as scientific fact. But if the Mythbusters have taught us anything, it's that you should never see Hollywood as reality. And these people don't care to research dinosaurs in the slightest, so all they're left with is this.
Again, The Land Before Time is not trying to be a realistic movie that portrays dinosaurs in a real light. And most of the dinosaurs in The Land Before Time aren't even bloodthirsty animals. The only one is the T-Rex in the film, so that's a big exaggeration. And for Peter Jackson's King Kong, there was a reason for why the T-Rex and V-Rex and King Kong fought each other in the first place. It was due to a war going on at the time, and this, by the way, this information comes from the book on King Kong. Originally, the Kongs would stay on the highlands, and the V-Rexes would stay on the lowlands. But the issue began as the island began to get smaller and smaller due to it being in between two tectonic plates, basically crushing the island apart, making the territory between the V-Rexes and the King Kongs more difficult to maintain both sides, so essentially forced the animals to kill each other and to eliminate as much threats as possible that could bite them back in the future. And plus, as confirmed in the book, the V-Rexes mostly go after medium to small prey, with the Firstosaurus, which the V-Rex wouldn't even mess with, as stated in the book, which is something he brings up. And are you trying to imply that the Dromaeosaurus hunting the Brachiosaurus is a bad thing? That's what they hunted. Like, that's not a bad thing. So, what are you talking about? We have evidence that Giganotosaurus hunted large herbivores, so it's not seriously out of the question that a bunch of Dromaeosaurs could do this?
Even when some people want to enlighten themselves on these awesome anomalies, they're met with loads of misinformation from these terrible documentaries. Guys, documentaries, which are made primarily for education, still pump people's heads with the same massive misconceptions. Even when you're supposed to be learning, many still present dinosaurs as killing machines. I've seen some that are good in this regard, but shows like Jurassic Fight Club, Planet Dinosaur, and Monsters Resurrected get it all wrong.
Coming from the guy that brings up dumb criticisms to these documentaries, and that have been proved to be completely bullshit.
For the name that got thrown out, Syntarsis, well, that genus of beetle was found to be dubious, so the name is free and ready to be used by scientists once again in reference to this early Jurassic predator.
This is not how taxonomy works. Once a genus name has been used, even if the genus is synonymized, it can't be used again. The only situation where this does not apply is a situation like Brontosaurus, where a genus is synonymized, but then the genus is synonymized with is split, then the name could be used. But this is not the situation with Syntarsis, because Syntarsis was synonymized due to its name being preoccupied by a beetle, and even though that beetle has been synonymized, the genus name cannot be reused. I don't particularly like these rules either, and they don't really make that much sense, but these are the rules.
It's ironic how you say that these dinosaur documentaries get everything wrong, yet you never apply your own mistakes to your own self, because you're such a big fucking narcissist.
What you see on these programs is constant killing, violence, and gore. When audiences see,
"That thing is a killing machine!"
Spinosaurus.
what are they supposed to think? Now, I loved Jurassic Fight Club as a kid. I even held the high score on the website's fighting game Turf Wars. But every episode is about a fight between two prehistoric creatures, usually dinosaurs. There is still some good science in the show, but when the entire thing revolves around killing, you'd think all dinosaurs belong to Michael Vick. So it's unfortunate, but most people still think of dinosaurs as these murderous monsters. That's the world we live in, I guess. In reality, these outdated perceptions of the so-called terrible lizards couldn't be further from the truth. Like I said before, dinosaurs are just animals, no different than the ones you'd see today in a zoo. When you go to the zoo, do the bears immediately try to escape and attack visitors because they're savages? No, of course not. But if there is a zoo like that, I'm in. That'd be awesome. The first two Jurassic Parks, Walking with Dinosaurs and Operation Genesis, got them so right. They weren't out for blood, they weren't killing machines, nah, they were just chillin', living their lives. Like modern cranes, Spinosaurus waded in water to fish. Like elephants, Edmontosaurus formed herds. Like Komodo dragons, it's speculated that many carnivores, like Deinonychus, ganged together to bring down much larger prey. Even the dreaded tyrannosaurs may have lived in familial groups and cared for their young. Also, despite what countless dinosaur films showed you, large and fully grown dinosaurs didn't 1v1 each other to fill the need for action spectacle in their lives. No, predators only go for easy prey unless they're really desperate, and they wouldn't attack each other on sight. The goal is to nab easy meals like babies or the sick. Any injury from a tussle can prevent a carnivore from hunting, which means they go hungry and get a game over. So fighting, not a good idea. Carnivores like Allosaurus were not rock'em sock'em robots, but animals. Really cool animals, but still animals. And again, dinosaurs weren't lizards at all. Many were homeothermic, or at least mesothermic, meaning they produced their own warmth and regulated their own body temperature to a certain extent, unlike most reptiles today. This made them far more active. Jurassic World doesn't cover this, but I might as well inform you that while many did have scaly skin, many also had feathery coverings, resembling modern birds, which are considered dinosaurs, far more than crocodilians. Do these look anything like lizards to you? Sorry, feathers are a bit off topic, especially for a Jurassic World video.
Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load of...
Anyways, no, they weren't killing machines, just as bears and wolves aren't killing machines, despite what Disney tells you. Now, here's where Jurassic World comes into play. An ongoing conflict in the World movies is between the real dinosaurs and hybrids. Yes, the more realistic ones still have frog DNA, but this can be overlooked since it was only used to fill in some gaps. Yes, this caused mutations, but this was as accurate as this universe was able to get them, okay? Okay.
No, the Jurassic World films were never about the conflict between dinosaurs and the hybrids. It's true that they did use the hybrids for different themes, but they were never about, but that never existed at all. Like, this literally never happened. So what are you even talking about, Red? What are you talking about?
The first Jurassic World made it clear that the park wanted to boost ticket sales because the public was getting used to their dinosaurs. To bring in larger crowds, the scientists at Jurassic World gave the public more of what they expected from dinosaurs. Bigger, louder, more teeth, as Claire put it. They wanted something captivating, thrilling, terrifying, something that dinosaurs were not. This was the inspiration to create the Indominus Rex, a scary, massive killing machine.
I'm gonna be brief since I want to make a whole video talking about the themes of Jurassic World and the other two movies. But to the argument, no, this is not true. The film was never about the false ideas of dinosaurs. It was about how instead of going for more money and instead of being happy with your earnings, you just keep going for more money. And the message of Jurassic World is, if you make a lot of money, stay content with it and don't try to take way too much risks for the sake of more money. Because and to prove this, most of the guests are having a fun time and Claire doesn't really made the Indominus Rex for more money and essentially exploited an animal. And plus, we never really see anyone bored, so it's clearly contradicted, as I say in my Rebirth video. So, like, yeah, that's what the film's about. The selfish nature of corporations and how, instead of being content, they want more.
With abilities that come and go for the purpose of furthering the plot. Theoretically, this would attract mainstream audiences because this is what they were used to seeing from countless creature features and fake news documentaries.
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you stay?
The Indominus Rex is the poster child for all these false portrayals of dinosaurs, and being the main antagonist of the movie, it's easy to tell that Jurassic World is against this dinosaurs as monsters portrayal. All the IREX did for the entire 2-hour runtime was slaughter. It's a soulless, evil beast of an animal that killed everything in its path, just like this franchise. And what was it killing for sport? Well, people, yes, but also actual dinosaurs. Dinosaurs that were still hybrids, but still the normal animals that they actually were in real life. Jurassic World spent a lot of time showing the real dinosaurs in all their Mesozoic glory, and did a great job at it. Well, a great job in the fact that these creatures were not fundamentally different from any others that we see today. Not so great in terms of accuracy. A lack of feathers, wrong sizes, pronated wrists, oh my gosh, the wrists, mammalian sounding roars, speeds, and so on. These were all wrong. Anyways, for all the trash that I give this movie, it's heartbreaking seeing the herbivores fall to the crazed Indominus. The Apatosaurus scene was easily the best in the 2-hour runtime, as Owen comforted her as she died from her injuries. And Claire finally learned that these really were living, breathing creatures instead of numbers on a spreadsheet. It also helps that the actors can actually interact with an animatronic instead of relying on CGI, but I'm getting off topic again. There was a clear dichotomy between actual dinosaurs, well, archosaurs, and monsters. They are definitely not the same thing and shouldn't be viewed as such by general audiences. And when there is confusion in the difference between the two, people die, it's bad. And in the end, the real animals come together to defeat this monstrosity, and we all live happily ever after, right? Well, not quite. If you've read the title, then you already know that what is an amazing concept completely falls apart. Why is that? How did it crash and burn? Well guys, there's a very specific moment, an easily definable scene in Jurassic World where it all went horribly wrong. And that scene is the pterosaur attack. Let me re-jog your memory for a minute. So every attempt to catch the Indominus Rex alive has failed, but it's still moving southwards towards the park, or world at this point. In a last-ditch effort to save lives, Maserati flies his helicopter with a machine gunner with the aim of an Indiana Jones Nazi. After failing to get any shot in, the Irex smashes into the pterosaur aviary for cover, letting all the pteranodons and dimorphodons loose. Now with no boundaries to restrain them, what is the first thing they do? Swarm the helicopter and murder everyone on board, of course, just like every animal would, right? Trust me, the stupidity doesn't end there. After murdering a loud moving object they've never seen before, like all animals do.
How is that a bad thing? You're complaining about the same franchise that has T-Rexes attacking cars, buses, and busting through buildings. Raptors jumping through windows? But now this is the breaking point? The same thing you would have been complaining about if your standards were consistent has already happened. Like, holy shit. And rhinos and elephants have attacked cars in real life, so this doesn't make sense, and animals will sometimes attack vehicles. So, why? And plus, why are you showing a video of a dog getting scared by a vacuum? That's a fucking pet, not a wild animal. Why the fuck are you bringing up a dog and a vacuum as a valid comparison to prove your point? Do I need to explain how stupid that is? That is so fucking stupid.
All of them decide to fly miles away from their homes to terrorize Jurassic World together, trashing the place and killing countless tourists. It's at this point in the film where it all goes to crap. Here's why. The careful dichotomy between monster and animal it's been all this time building gets completely obliterated, sharing the same fate as Maserati himself. Now who were supposed to be actual animals became vicious, bloodthirsty savages, no different than the Indominus itself. Owen Grady specifically pointed out that the antagonist hunted for sport, leaving a field of dead sauropods, but then the pteranodons and dimorphodons started doing the exact same thing, only with humans. Now the once clear distinction is totally lost. Even Jurassic Park 3 treated its archosaurs better. The very last scene in Johnston's movie showed the pteranodons migrating peacefully across the ocean, not feeling the need to murder Alan Grant and everyone else on board the helicopter. But in Jurassic World, every pteranodon and their mothers said, "Get to the chopper!" The core problem with Jurassic World is that it thought it needed to be a mindless popcorn flick to sell tickets. Colin Trevorrow and Universal underestimated the intelligence of their audiences, believing they wouldn't be smart enough to pick up on more subtle themes and messages, so they'd have to shove non-stop Sharknado action in our faces.
Yeah, they were hungry because they wanted the guests, because they were an easy meal. That's why they ate them. It's really that simple. Plus, they also didn't just attack humans, they also attacked baby dinosaurs. And since all of these animals are easy food, it's no wonder why they would go after humans and baby dinosaurs. Because because they are easy prey. It's easy to go after them because there's easy prey due to that. And if you want to argue, oh, but why did they all go to this one area? Oh, because that's a ton of people are there. And that's basically why. Because to eat food. They wanted to eat food. That's it. It's not that complicated. How is it this hard to understand? They were hungry, and so they attacked humans. End of story. God, I'm surrounded by idiots.